everyone, so I'm here today to talk a little bit about our RoboPro Beginners Camp. This camp utilizes a software called Arduino, and it uses icon programming within the software. So icon programming is when you're able to click and drag different icons into your workspace, and this essentially corresponds to different forms of coding. So as you see here, we have a couple different icons within here, and that includes this servo motor icon. So that means we're coding this specific motor of our robot, but there's other options as well. So these here are motion codes. So each icon represents a different direction, so we can code our robot to move forward, backward, and then turn different directions and turn in a circle. There's also a DC motor here as well, and we can also code our robot to play music and sounds, light up, and then pause for a few seconds. In our icon programming, we also have these sensor icons, and these correspond to different sensors we can put on our robot. I know one in particular can detect whether there's something covering the sensor or a light flashing on the sensor. Then we also have a repeat icon. So these make it so our code repeats consistently. So in the code we're using right here, we have a few repeat icons, and this makes it so our code repeats forever. So this little infinite cycles, or the repeat indefinitely, makes it so it'll continuously run on our robot. We also have all of these different servo motor icons here because it corresponds to the different directions we're expecting our motors on our robot to move. So we have a few different things running here. So you may see that our speed is at 16, so that's the speed we want our robot to walk at. And then all of these different numbers correspond to the different degrees we want our motors to move at. So now all we have to do is go ahead and transfer this code onto our robot. So when I click transfer, it'll transfer it to the robot itself, and then we just have to wait for it to load, and now it's been compiled and transferred. So let's take a look at what that looks like in our robot. Here is the robot itself, and if we take a closer look, we can see that it's made up of a couple different building blocks, and we use similar blocks throughout the whole camp to build all of our different robots, and they're great because you can snap them together kind of like Legos and customize it to how you'd like to do it. So here we have these building blocks making up its feet, and then we also have two servo motors here. And these are the different motors that we actually coded within the Arduino software. So you may remember the servo motor icons that we saw previously. And all this code corresponds to the way that these servo motors are going to be moving. So let's take a look at the robot in action. I'm just going to go over here, turn on the power. And as we can see, the robot is actually walking, which I think is super cool. And this is our first project we do in the camp, so it's great because it introduces kids to coding their robots and ends up with a really awesome result. We also like to let kids customize their robots. So as you can see, you can even build onto these cool little blocks and make our own little creatures. So kids will have the opportunity to use all sorts of different colors and styles of blocks. So we have some bigger, thicker ones, then we have some thinner ones too. And again, in all different colors, or they could even use, we've used paper before and attach that onto a robot to make it look like different bugs or different animals or whatever kids really like. So we really hope to see you at our RoboPro Beginner Camp soon.